Good evening or good afternoon. It's coming up to 10 to 10 here in the UK. I've literally just closed my order. I just did a video and I didn't realise I had the wrong screen up, so I was commentating on my video, and it was actually my order flow screen I had opened. This that's the main screen, which I've got it this time. Okay, so today it was a much better day trading for me. I ended, I would say red, but probably close to break even. So it's probably a break even day because I'm very slightly over red, and I'm going to go into that. Even though I had a decent day trading, I wouldn't say frustrating. It was through no fault of my own. I kind of got whipped out. So let's just quickly go to the hourly so we can see our levels. I'm going to open up my trading plan as well so we can discuss the levels quickly. So in the pre-market, I said I was watching for a 50-90 bounce down here. We didn't get anywhere near there. Well, we kind of did today, but that was way in. That was 6 a.m. We're in the pre-market, so that was off. I was looking for a double bottom basically. I said I'm watching for 51.15 for a break and retest. This level here, and you can see that would have been a good level. And then I was watching 50.70 for a bounce if we sold off. So this area off of this point of control on this trend line. And then I was also watching 51.06, which is yesterday's. It was this head and shoulders pattern from a few days ago, big end of last week, and it's that level I was watching yesterday. I took a rejection of that level, high risk rejection, and it's still in play because obviously it rejected, and then the pre-market was playing to that level as well. So I kind of kept an eye on that. So that was what I was watching for today. So let's just go back to the plan. So these are my levels and just some notes. One thing I was talking about, that SPY and SPX was coming up to the trend line, which we touched today, I think, on SPY. Let's just show you. And I even predicted in our live chat today, I drew the fibs in and I said, look, let's see what happens when it gets to 50%. And what I did, I'll show you to find, look at that, it's spot on. So I took the fibs from the previous pivot high down to the current pivot low from a few days ago, and then all I did is I just moved that fibs now to the top of that zone, trying to find where the next area could be. And basically the same fibs. So if there's algos and there's if there's algos and smart money playing the Fibonacci's on here, then they might be still playing it on the same up. They'll probably use the same algos or the same formula. And you can see today came right up to the 50% and rejected it perfectly. And because there's no way of knowing, we're in all-time highs, so you don't know where any potential targets are going to be. Let's just put it back to where it was. So that's the pivot from the top down to yesterday's, that double bottom, that pivot. And then what I did is I just moved that then from the last, let's go back. I just moved the entire fibs, just clone, you can clone it. And I just put it on the top of that pivot again. So we've got another start point. That's a bit low, but anyway, you get a general idea. Put it on the top of that pivot. And so I've got a new mouse. In fact, I've got a button I can press to make it more fine-tuned. Here you go, I can slow it down by doing that. There. So anyway, it rejected it perfectly, 50%, and that's just I said in the live chat today, so let's just see what happens when we get up into that area. One thing to note as well on the monthly, see this dashed line, and look, goes back to almost 24 years, goes back to 2000, what year is that? 1999, 2000, March 2000. We touched it, we joined it up with the January 2022, 2 years ago, and then look at that, we came right into it. Last time we were there, we saw this big reaction down, and we're right at that point now. So it'll be interesting to see what the next week brings, next month brings, and see where and we've got the same on SPX as well. So we've got this line. Let's go back to the monthly. I've drawn it in. And where are we today? We came right up to it as well. So let's see what happens over the next month, whether we do see the same reaction we had there and obviously down here than we have where we are now. But anyway, let's go into my trades for today. So I should go through my levels a minute ago, what I was watching. I'm going to go into the 5-minute chart now. I'm going to go through the 2 trades I took. Didn't overtrade today. I almost did. I did mismanage my trades a bit, but I'll get into that as I get to it. So we had the open, and we had this level. Was watching a high risk either a break and retest or rejection level. And what really did it for me was when I was looking at order flow, I could see this big area up here of large orders, both buying and selling. So it's basically absorbing this 5110 area, and I was watching 5115, which is just above. That's our break and retest, but I was also watching 5106. So my entry, I wrote everything down on a sticky note. I got in at 5108, and so that was when I saw this area really heavy of buying and sellers. So I used that as my resistance. My stop was just above that area, so my stop was where that top of that box is, and my entry was 5108, which was just as it broke down below that area. I went short there. So it's a short entry just here. We got a big area there of sellers. We've got this point of control there. We had this big boxed area, big volume. You can see the volume bar on the side of this footprint chart. So that was my entry there. Confident 5108. In my what's happened there? Oh, it's just a screenshot. Don't have to reset that back. Anyway, in my Ninja Trader, when I get into a trade, it automatically sets up a 10 tick stop loss, and it sets up a 30 tick, which is 3R, a 50 tick, which is 5R, and a 10 tick, which is a 10R stop loss targets. So I had them in place, and I'll get to my really tight stop loss in a minute because I'm not happy with how that works. So I was short down here at 5108. No, my stop was there. I was short at 5108 about there, and down here we had a bit of unfinished business. And when I say that, in the charts you see the candle had both buying and selling normally on one side. If I flick back to my order flow chart for a sec. So that's the reason I had my stop literally just below these 2 pins. That's my 3R point, and I got in there, and it took me for 3R. So it's a good target. Then I still had a 5R and a 10R target left. And at that point, even though my stop was above that area absorption, I moved my stop down to break even. So you can see here on my notes, 51.8 reject, lots of absorption at 5, 51.11, hourly level 51.15. SPX was also rejecting 5100, so I kind of keep an eye on SPX, and if that rejects it, then generally the market follows it, and definitely SPY and MES. And then, so my stop was at 51.0. It's less than half an hour, my risk on that trade. Not even, I don't think it's even half an hour, because I used the absorption. And that's the reason I like using order flow. Can I go find it again? It's a bit later. And let's go back into that screenshot again, which would be that one, I think. 940. Yeah, the reason I'm using order flow is because I can refine my stop loss. So now at this area, usually you put a stop loss at the top of a candle and you use that as your out. You know, this is a big area. You know, if you're trading up to 20 Apex accounts, then, and if you this what's this, about 5-6 ticks, that's a significant amount of money which you can lose just by not looking at the order flow. The order flow has given me an area now to watch for resistance. So my entry was just directly below that area, and my stop was just there, rather than use the top of that candle. So if it did stop me out, I'd get stopped out for half an hour, not even that, instead of 1 hour. And so that's kind of why I've been studying order flow quite a lot recently, because it's helping me refine both my entries and my exits. So I can see exits as well. Here we go, unfinished business we talked about. Unfinished business. And you don't see it on here, but the next candle down was it coming back down, triggering that, and then we're going to get to the loss I made, which wasn't for any fault of my own. So that's why I like to, we saw unfinished business down there as well. So I knew it was going to drop down a little bit more. We had this heavy area of resistance above. And we had another thing to watch for on order flow, point of control. We had a point of control there, another one there, another one there, another one there. So I was looking to move my stop right down to the break-even point. So 51.08. So if we go across a bit, that should have been 51.06. Okay, so I think I left my stop at break-even, which is just above at 51.08. Let's go to the line. So this is where my stop was at break-even. Oh, it's a bit there. Ignore that. There. So, but really, I probably should have moved it to just above this area here where the point of control is, but that's fine. So I was happy where my stop was, and I'm using order flow to refine my stop losses. That's the point I was trying to make. So then you can see from here, again, this is a 5 minute, back on the 5 minute again. I got my 3R, boom, I moved to break even, happy with that, 51.08, which is just above that line, my break even, I think it was. And then out of the blue, this big whip up, it went boom, straight up, came all the way back down again, took me out. However, it didn't take me out at break even, or even a little bit of slippage. My slippage was well up here, so I was down, even though I made 3R on the trade there, I was down about, well, equal amount. Should have been quite, my stop should have been there. I was out up here, so I was down probably about 3-4R, probably more than that. Bit annoying, so took profit there, and I was probably down about 1.5, 2R, 1R really, because I took 3R there, and it stopped me out for 1R roughly, whatever it should have been. And 3R, no, the 3R, it was a 2 to 3R stop out, because I was actually in the red on this trade rather than in the green where I should have been. So a bit frustrating. And as the candle came back down again, I thought I'd just take 51.08 again, because it was a big topping tail forming, and I thought it was just going to keep going down, and it didn't. On the next candle, you can see it came back up and stopped me out. That's it really. So that was that trade done. I was done with that trade. Time to move on. Broke over the 51.14 area. I was watching for a break and retest. So I was looking for a retest. My management of this trade wasn't that great. I came in, I think I went long there, and I got stopped out because my stop was a tight 10 tick stop, which was a bit annoying. I think I tried it again, and it may have stopped me out again there, so I was a bit annoyed by this. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for it, just 10 there, and then the momentum took it through. So it took me 2 attempts to get it, but it shouldn't have done. It should have been, I should have been in. My stop should have been a bit, it should have given it room to breathe, and that's my problem. I've been giving it tight stops, there's not having enough room to breathe. And MES can be quite whippy, especially in the first hour of the market open. So anyway, I was in this trade, and I was doing okay. I took some profit, and I think I was up at 3R, that's my 3R level around here somewhere. And I was taking my daughter to scouts, so my stop loss was now at break even, which was about here. And so I added on this pullback, and then it was around here. I was taking my daughter to scouts actually at midday. So as it came down, I was confident we were going to run up all day. I kind of moved my stop. I should have left it on that pivot, but I didn't. I moved it. I don't know why I did. I moved it to this level, and I think I then moved it just below that pivot because when I left it was green, that candle. It might have been this candle here. But anyway, wherever I moved it to, when I came back earlier, the market was about here. My stop was right there. That was my stop out. So it literally whipped me out, stopped me out, and then carried on. So I was a bit annoyed with that, but it is what it is. I'm still down for the day, and I just happened to be looking at charts, looking at order flow, and we're just coming up into this area, and I noticed this thing. So let's just show you the divergence. We had divergence on the buying, on the price, and we had the cumulative delta. So you can see price was rising. This is a 2-minute candlestick chart, but the delta was declining, and that's usually one of the early signs of a reversal, especially as you come into an end of trend. We're in all-time highs, so I have no idea. You know, there's no levels to go by, so all you can watch is looking for sellers, just more aggressive sellers and aggressive buyers. So the price was rising. It looked like we had a lot of buyers coming in, and it looked strong. But by looking at this, you can see that the sellers were taking control, and you can see exactly what happened. So sellers are taking control. What time is this? From 1 o'clock, and so this is from 1 o'clock here. So price was still rising, but there was, look at the candles, big green candles, a few red candles, and all this time, you could say this was probably the smart money accumulating. The buyers were running out of steam basically. And so going back to the SPY again, I noticed we were right on that line, so that's another thing in my favour. I was right on that line on the SPX as well. This is a monthly rejection, and I got some screenshot from order flow, which is that one there. And another thing, like previously, I like looking for big areas of absorption, and you can see that there. You can see that there. Maybe a little bit there as well. So, and you can definitely see it there as well. So we're coming up into this area. This is from almost 2 o'clock onwards, and so let's just get rid of that. Let's just move this screenshot so you can see it all. And so here we go, we can see both now. Make it full screen. So I was looking for a short basically, and I was trying to find my place, and this time I didn't want to have such a tight stop. We had price rising, we had cumulative delta declining. Basically cumulative delta shows you the aggressive buying and aggressive sellers. If you've got more aggressive buyers, then it goes up. If you've got more aggressive sellers, it goes down, and it should go up with the price. So if the price goes up, the cumulative delta goes up. The price goes down, cumulative delta goes down. But then you start noticing something like this trend where it starts trending down when the price is trending up, and that's when you have to sit up and take notice. And again, another reason why I love using order flow is I love volume price analysis, which is great. I still use that a lot, and then looking for pullbacks and decreasing volume. But this is showing me the volume, not only in where we get volume by time. We see on the chart the volume is at the bottom. This shows me volume by price as well, and I use a volume profile on my trading view screen and my main chart screen, so I can see where there's big shelves of high volume on the trade at certain prices. But this shows you what's going in every candlestick, and it's quite important to know what's going on in the candle, especially when you're looking for a reversal. And like my trade earlier, you can see areas where buyers and sellers are sitting absorbing. So I was looking, I waited, and I think I got my entry. It was around 41, 47. In fact, it wasn't too far from the top. It was there. As soon as I saw these limit orders come in, so this basically we're looking at, there was no interest in sellers there, and buyers. If you look at the previous count, we had 466 buyers, 1,200, 400. Oh, we had a lot of aggressive buying there as well. This is buying imbalance, so there's more buyers than sellers if you compare them off. Same here. But as soon as I started seeing that top one, I knew this area wasn't going to be very what was I saying? I knew the buyers were starting to lose interest, and definitely with the delta going down as well. I know this one here we've got a lot of buyers, but there's a lot of volume in this candle in total. But there's no follow through. The candle put in the tail, no follow through. So I was confident there's going to be no more follow through. We had, if you can see the red lines, this is an indicator I created which tells me levels, tells me where there's big buyers and sellers. So you can see up here we had lots of big sell limit orders, so I put my stop just above that area, and then I got short just below here. And as soon as I saw that, that's, if you're a hedge fund, you're not going to be looking to buy you're not going to look to be going long at the top of a massive big trend, especially with a couple of hours ago before the market closes. So if you see a big order out, unusual one where you got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, 200, 600, 400, and then it's the highest volume at the top, that's generally limit orders triggering rather than aggressive buying. That's passive selling. And so that's why I was confident to go short, which is what I did. I went short up here. I can't remember what candle it was now, it's around here somewhere. So I went short there. My stop loss was above those orders there, so I gave me a bit more space, and you can see I'm glad I did that, because came in, it was in green, it came back through my break even, and it got close to my original stop. Well, it would have been if I said, well, I would have been stopped out, and then that's it. We put in a lower high, slightly lower high there, and even though it didn't have the massive reaction I really wanted it to take in the pre-market, I still held through. So where would it get out? So I took a bit of profit there, 3R was there, and I held through. I took another bit of profit when it came back down there, and I just took, just 5 minutes before the market closed, I just got out the rest of my trades. I had four contracts basically, and my entry was pretty much there. So left the day break even almost, so kind of made up for this on here, because I got back in twice on that one, so I lost quite a bit on that one. Made a little bit back on here, and I made a little tiny bit up here. So kind of, I wasn't really watching it. I was just having to be sitting in front of my computer, and I just saw the order flow, and that's why I got interested, and that's why I jumped in, and that's why I took it, because there was no other signs in it. Price was rising. If you're a retail trader and you don't have the tools in front of you, like the order flow, you just want to jump in on the next pullback. Could this be the next pullback? Probably. Imagine a lot of people jumped in there and probably got trapped when it came back down, probably still there now holding. So thinking that was going to continue the trend up. But anyway, that's my trading day. A long lengthy video, I apologise for that, but it's nice saying it out loud. It's been a bit of a lousy week, tough week. Today was better, levels were cleaner and crisper, and I didn't overtrade. I managed it badly in this area. Probably would have been a green day had I just got in, set my stop and just left it. So I'm going to work on my stops over the next few days, and then next week hopefully have a better plan going forward. Probably going to go back to the larger stop loss like I held up here, because it's better for my mind as well. Having lots of stops and getting back in, not only if it's harder work, looking at your my trade viz at the end of the day, and I see I've taken 10 trades when I usually only want to take 2 or 3. And then when you break that down into what were the trades, it's probably only 2 or 3 trades anyway, just lots of stops. So call it paper cuts, but I'm thinking my style of trading is to give it more space, and I don't mind having a bit of drawdown, because the levels, as you can see today and you've seen all week, the levels have worked every single day this week. So it doesn't matter if I have a little bit more space below, let the trade breathe a bit more. I think overall, well, I know overall it's a better way of trading. That's what I was doing all of January. I had wider stops, and I was tinkering, trying to tighten things up a bit, and I think that's where it's been, where February was a tough month. So I'm going to go back to my original method in January. I think I had 1 red day in January, and I had plenty of red days in February, so the end of the month about break even, I think. So not a great way, but still, it's all about learning and adapting to how the market changes. So anyway, what do I think is going to happen next week? I'll be interested to see what happens, whether we get a reaction on this massive big monthly trend line. Potentially we've got massive overhead resistance here, so it'd be interesting to see whether we do get a pullback. Where will it pull back to? I would say that's our first target. If we do pull back, maybe, you know, that's on the monthly side of things. What's that, 480? So in MES or SPX, that, what would that be? Back down to 4,800. If we go into the daily, we can definitely get back down to this area here. If we do get a pullback, 450, 41, 4,800 down here. So potentially this is an area we could watch for a pullback if we do see that reaction, which I hope we may see. You can see last time we was at that point was back in December 2021. Time before was in 2000, so 24 years ago. So there you go. So let's keep an eye on next week. News-wise, we had a lot of Fed speakers today as well. Upcoming. Quite a few things next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday we've got 10 AM news drops and then 8:30 on Friday, so keep an eye on them. They could move the market. Fed Powell as well, I could do some market moving as well. Okay, well, appreciate you watching, and don't forget to hit the like button if you like the video. I know it's a longer video than I wanted to do, but I'm glad I did it because I'm just playing a bit of catch up. Really, I've skipped a few recap videos over the last few days, so I'm kind of playing catch up with them. Okay, have a nice weekend.